be in the bag, but that bag belongs to the Central Pulse at the moment.
I think we've seen the tactics in round one, so we'll have a really good idea of what they do and what we need to do to counteract that, and having our home crowd behind us would be awesome, and it would be good to put a win on the board.
Canterbury Tactix finished nicely. Anna Thompson.
The games against Pulse are always tight. They always are ones that go right down to the wire. I think in the first year we went into overtime in 2 games, and so you can't take anything for granted with them, and you have to get a lead on them and build, and that's something that we really want to work on.
The crowd gets right behind us in Wellington, and it's always a huge advantage for us when we are playing at home.
We are at the TSB Bank Arena in Wellington, where although this clash between the Canterbury Tactix and Central Pulse won't have an impact on the final series, it is guaranteed to be an emotion-charged affair as the 2 bottom-ranked teams go head-to-head. After the Pulse's heartbreaking 1-goal loss to the Mystics in extra time last week, they will be well aware that this could finally be their moment to capture their 2nd ever ANZ Championship win. Yes, hi there, and welcome to the TSB Bank Arena here in the mighty Wellington. And Bernice Smenny, we're in a situation, the Pulse, they've started to hit some form, and I guess the big one for them is Silver Fern Katrina Grant comes in.
Well, they'll be really pleased to have their Silver Fern back, and Katrina Grant will be dying to get out on the court. She hasn't played since round 4, so here's her opportunity to prove herself.
I guess the big one, Emma Abwazi, she has moved out to goal defence previously, and I think she's played better out there, so it'll be interesting to see where she slots in.
Yeah, I'd agree that Abwazi gives good momentum through the court on attack and on defence, looking for intercepts, but they are interchangeable.
Okay, well, this is just the first of many clashes throughout the weekend. I guess the big one tomorrow, the clash of the birds. It's guaranteed to be a thriller. Both sides are in sensational form, and this game could be a defining moment for the season. Monday night netball sees the Magic looking for a record equalling 8th consecutive win when they head south for their clash with the Southern Steel. And lastly, the New South Wales Swifts will be seeking to maintain their perfect record for the season as they take on the well-rested West Coast Fever. And just looking at the points table, well, the Swifts and the Waikato Bay Fleeting Magic look pretty comfortable in it 1st and 2nd, but then look down below there, 5 teams hunting for that 3rd and 4th position. And I guess the big one today, the Tactix Pulse, the battle for the wooden spoon. Well, while we're here, our very own match commentator, Andrew McVeigh, she's out and about in the stand, and she's had the word on a new initiative for the ANZ Champs.
Hey T, well, I'm gathered with a group of young students who have made the trek from Magic Country, from Te Puke Intermediate actually. You'll see their fantastic yellow banner in behind me there. Brilliant stuff. Now, it's a bit of a tenuous segue, but the ANZ Championship Initiative is the Mars Red Young Player Award. Now, $5,000 Australian is up for grabs, so it's pretty worth winning. And the first nominee is a young Thunderbird called Shani Layton. So let's take a look at how her season has been. And there'll be a different nominee from both sides of the Tasman throughout the weeks between now and the end of the regular season. I'm just going to let you know the criteria. They need to be 25 years of age or under as of the 1st of Jan. They must have taken to the court for no more than 5 quarters in total across any previous ANZ Championship season, and they can be nominated in successive seasons if they still meet the criteria. And remember, any nationality is eligible. So did you get all that? Now, what that essentially means is that out there today, you keep a close eye on some of the young players performing. Meantime, guys, who's going to win? See you, T.
Oh, Bernie, oh, to be young. Both you and I could do with a lazy $5,000, but I guess out there today, Alan Halpenny could be one of those players that could be up for that competition.
Well, those that are eligible, young, up-and-coming players, really talented ones, such as Kayla Cullen, Amy Steele, others that are in the mix.
Well, exciting times. Well, we're going to duck away to a quick break. Before we do, these teams have played each other 5 times since the start of this competition. The Tactix have come out on top, all 5. Let's take a look at the Fisher and Paykel head-to-head.
The head-to-head is proudly brought to you by Fisher and Paykel.
The Canterbury Tactix, a well-needed win. And the Pulse, they can only wonder, why can't it work for us? Be taken centre pass from Bowden, but she's called in the circle.
We're back live at the TSB Bank Arena in Wellington, where the Central Pulse are getting good to go against this Canterbury Tactix. This match could well decide the 2010 Wooden Spoon. Yes, hi there and welcome back. And we talk Wooden Spoon. These players are playing for pride out there, Bernie.
Well, absolutely, they're playing for pride. Both of them desperate for a win. The Pulse coming off that nail-biting game last week in extra time. And, of course, the Tactix, they've gone without a win for 7 games now, so they will be desperate. OK, time now to take a look at this Tactix starting lineup. And I guess the big one here, Anna Thompson stays at goal shoot. They were impressive, that combination last week. I like the versatility in that circle and the mobility as well. And so down at the defence end, we've got Kite and Victoria Smith, also interchangeable. In the mid-court for the Tactix, quite an experienced lineup now with Finch, Bowden and Crofts, so they should have a good understanding. And then in at goal shoot, as we mentioned, Anna Thompson back at goal shoot and Ange Mitchell, she's just hitting her stride at goal attack. And on the sideline, Anna Galvin, great to have her back and an option to put on the court as well. OK, well, their coach today, Helen Manstroud, she's sidelined with Andrew McVeigh.
Well, Helen, I bet you've done some soul searching. There's just been weeks and weeks of disappointment for you. How determined today to notch one up?
The team are really determined. As you said, we've had disappointment over the last few weeks. And, it's the old cliche, it's not about how you fall, it's about how you get back up, and we worked really hard on that this week. So, you know what, today's game is more about mental toughness than anything.
Well, Helen, we hope that you give the folks at O'Shea's Tavern, I think that's your husband's new bar down in Christchurch, something to cheer about.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the girls will. Thanks.
And Bernie, Anna Thompson, she slotted in at goal shoot last week, probably one of the smallest shooters in the competition. She was impressive, going at 89%. I think she also has a good presence in the circle as well, but it picked up her shooting statistics, and she was a great stability back there behind Angela Mitchell. OK, down the other end, Charlotte Kite. She's gone at 25 intercepts for the season. She's getting better and better, and she looks like she loves it when she's out there. I love watching Charlotte Kite. She picks up intercepts, she has real drive through the court and can play both goal keep and goal defence, so that's an asset for the Tactix side. OK, well, their opposition today, yes, the Central Pulse. Let's take a look at their starting lineup. And I guess the only surprise, Katrina Grant, the Silver Fern, she's back in and she starts at goal keep. They'll definitely be pleased to have Katrina Grant back there in the side, and she'll be keen to get her hands on the ball. In the mid-court, again, Camilla Lees and Milna Olsen, they are interchangeable. And in the shooting circle, Jane Olschwager and Paula Griffin, they are just starting to get that combination flowing nicely. On the bench, Amaru Tibble still has the highest shooting stats for this side. She could be one that gets some court time. OK, well, their coach Yvette McCausand-Jory, who's sidelined with Andrew McVeigh.
Well, Yvette, just a sense that momentum is building for your team. I guess you're in a really similar situation to the Tactix. How determined?
Yeah, I think certainly really determined. There was a lot of disappointment coming out of last week, but a lot of resolve and good confidence. And we've got to take all of that, put it aside and realise it's a new game, a new start, and bring all that will and power and energy that we put into last week back again.
And I do have to ask, Katrina Grant back, a nice change in chemistry again?
Yeah, I think so. Look, she's an outstanding defender. We've seen that before. She's worked incredibly hard over this break and she's hungry. So I hope it all goes well for her.
Best of luck, Evie. We look forward to a great battle.
Thanks very much.
And Bernie, Jane Olschwager there, their Australian import, finally in their last couple of weeks, she's certainly hit some form. Well, because previously there had been a lot of talk about Olschwager, about her form and about her captaincy role, so I'm pleased for her that she's finally coming to the forefront for her side, and she seemed relieved as well last week. And there she is, Katrina Grant. I bet she's champing at the bit to get out there. She hasn't been on since round 4. This could be a problem too. It could be a problem in that she won't have that match fitness, but what better way than just to throw her in the deep end and get her going. OK, well, we are just moments away from our exclusively live centre pass-off here. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to catch up with former Silver Fern, former teammate, Anna Galvin.
Yeah, well, as I said, I haven't played here for so long. I'd sit up in the stadium watching the Tactix and I'd think, gosh, my legs would start jittering and I'd be on the edge of my seat and I thought, I really want to play back out there again. I'm not made for sitting watching yet. So, yeah. We've got a great mix of youth and older heads, I suppose, if you like. We've got the likes of Vic Smith, of course, Marie Bowden, we've got Julie Seymour as the assistant coach. I keep going. We've got Philippa Finch in the middle. We've got Ashley Smith, Ellen Halpenny, who are very young and very green. But that, combined with the more experienced players through the middle. I think it makes a nice mix for our team.
The TSB Bank Arena in Wellington, with a home side Central Pulse are desperate to break their season drought this afternoon. It's the Canterbury Tactix in town in this bottom of the table clash. Former Silver Ferns captain Bernice Minnie. While they are the cellar dwellers, desperation is plenty motivation, isn't it?
Nobody wants to be at the bottom of the table, and everybody in this room here today wants to take the full points, the win from today.
And sideline, former Fern Tanya Dalton. And Tanya, I think it's fair to say this will be one encounter most likely decided by accuracy, particularly shooting accuracy.
Oh, without doubt, shooting accuracy. Tactix go in as the worst team shooting accuracy in the competition, so they'll want to sort of build on that, but they did last week in Anna Thompson and Angela Mitchell, so let's see if they can lift tonight. But I think also accuracy in terms of turnovers, mistakes, those little things need to be tidied up, and both teams will be doing their darndest to eliminate those sort of errors.
Well, the Tactix coach, Helen Stroud, watches as her team takes the court. They've just had such an unhappy season, plagued by injury. They don't have an import. They were denied a second import in Joe Harton, and they've struggled their way through 2010. And there's the roar of this crowd at the TSB Bank Arena in Wellington. They always give the home side such a reception. And Bernice Minnie pressure again on the Pulse captain Jane Olschlager.
Well, Jane, she'll be wanting to back up her last week's performance where she came out and she was flicking the ball around like a true professional and leading her team well.
At the other end, Katrina Grant, she's back in the mix, and she'll be pretty determined to prove that she's Silver Ferns material.
Absolutely. She's had 6 weeks off, so she'll be keen to get her hands on the ball. It's always a bit nerve-wracking as a defender when you don't get to touch the ball straight away.
Well, the umpires for this exchange, Liz Boone and Bronwyn Meek. And the ball deliverer, Anna Gill, who's 6 3/4 years old. And her favourite players, Millie Lees from the Central Pulse. Good on her. Game 1 of round 10, the ANZ Championships for 2010 underway. Central Pulse hosting the Canterbury Tactix. 9 versus 10, but expect a doozy. Pretty solid start so far, Central Pulse. Lees will set the penalty circle edge. And it's an easy run into Paula Griffin, who ought to finish under the post. And does. Canterbury Tactix now, they'll want to get a safe start under their belts as well. The combination last week, Bernice, between Anna Thompson and Ange Mitchell was pretty impressive against the Magic. I know we've started with a turnover, but there were encouraging signs.
Well, definitely that combination in the shooting circle, but there we saw Katrina Grant getting her first touch to the ball, and that will be honestly a relief for her, just a real sigh.
Katrina Grant's been in a moon boot for several weeks, so yes, she'll be delighted to be back on court. Milner Olsen now uses Griffin again and again. And Griffin, 2 from 2. So a pretty strong start so far. And Tanya Dalton, you're nestled beneath a wall of Central Pulse fans.
Yeah, and certainly talking to McCaws and Drew prior to this game, she said there's a good feel amongst this team. Of course, they were disappointed last week, but it's given them confidence to prove what they're capable of.
And they've got a fantastic crowd here today. Always the Pulse get the crowd coming out and supporting their team, regardless that they've had so many losses.
Yeah, you'd call it thick and thin, but there really hasn't been much but thick. 1 win previously in ANZ Championship history. That, of course, against the New South Wales Swifts about a year ago. Vic Smith picks one up.
And Pulse there probably guilty of throwing it around a bit too much.
Good mid-court zone, but the Tactix are through it nicely. Finch is used in the pocket.
And Mitch White.
Yeah, you can watch that battle pretty closely, T.
And I'm sure we'll say that name a lot. She was outstanding against Temapara George last week.
Bowden looks for the little feed in, but Abwasi and Grant managed to confuse the spaces. And Abwasi romps through court for her team.
She's a great asset on attack, Abwasi. Has good vision right through the court. And Victoria Smith called for the penalty.
Paula Griffin on fire so far. Tactix now, they'll desperately want to get on the board. They're in arrears by 3 already. Thompson out of the circle, lovely feed in.
And Aguazi and Grant pushing them out wide, making them shoot long.
Grant blocking out, real textbook defence from her.
Pulse now down the sideline. They travel down the sideline pretty frequently, do this Pulse outfit. Reset on the transverse line. So good patient stuff. And good pressure, Tactix defence. Through it though, Milner-Olsen, good bounce pass. And Griffin finishes.
And nice patience from the Pulse there, playing it around, waiting till the gap's open.
Lees this time. Resets with Kushla Lichvark. And I really do think the Lichvark-Philippa Finch battle is going to be a doozy.
Both of these sides have actually been quite heavily penalised in the top 10 penalty for the teams.
Lee's in the pocket and a delicate little feed into Olschwager.
Another contact for Vic Smith.
Tactix defence needing to tidy up and the Tactix needing to get on the board.
Some tight marking on that first phase in the centre pass there. And the Pulse defenders.
Tactix have had a clear run right through the middle on all of their centre passes so far.
Just haven't been able to make the most of any possession they've had, but both defenders are down this time, and Anna Thompson says, there we go, on the board. Abuezi used centre pass. And good progress through court, Central Pulse. Charlotte Kite this time called. And Griffin does the big step in, brave stuff, but she's up for it.
She's shooting with confidence.
Finch looks in.
It's a great contest between Grant and Thompson in the back.
Well, like I said earlier, Thompson's one of the shortest shooters you probably see in the competition.
Lichvark now does a world of work, defence and attack. And there's that steaming drive from Abuezi. What a weapon. Charlotte Kite thought she was a scarf, thought she might wrap herself around Jane Olschwager. Penalised for it.
And risky pass to Olschwager, that diagonal pass.
Charlotte Kite's just not seeing those diagonal passes today yet, though, is she? Normally she's so good with her footwork to come around her player.
I think she's getting a little bit caught flat at the front and with her head down. Often you get caught up with the shooter's movements as opposed to looking for the ball.
Milner-Olsen now circle edge. Nice simple feed in. Bounce pass again. And no goal, held ball. Crowd might not know that yet. So it's turnovers galore so far. But geez, 7-1. The Pulse are romping away with it.
Good hands over the ball from Millie Lee.
There's pressure right through the court, isn't there, from the Central Pulse defensive unit.
They look very well drilled this week. Obviously, they've done their homework from last week's game. Come out firing for this one.
Thompson now baseline. Abuezi penalised. And there's another for the Tactix. Now we know this Canterbury Tactix side's pretty good at playing catch-up. 5 goals down already. Yes, you could imagine the Central Pulse would be just so buoyed by going into extra time against the Mystics. And it was such a good game.
It was a huge game. Everyone that was in the stadium last weekend said they were on the edge of their seat, if not standing up.
I think most people were the same at home. Pulse turnover again, but Olschwager out the back door. Such tight defence, Central Pulse, and you can see Kushla Lichvark. She's out hunting as the ball comes through court.
And the Pulse defence, they're really forcing this Tactix side to do good preparation to keep going, stemming that flow.
Both defenders penalised again, so that's an easy one for Anna Thompson.
So the Tactix with the last 2 goals. Clawing it back, goal by goal.
And we're about halfway through the first spell here in Wellington. 7-3 it is. Central Pulse ahead. And looking pretty determined. Remember, they've only had 1 win in ANZ history.
And better defence from the Tactix, putting up a low zone, filling in those spaces. Pulse struggling to find their person.
Charlotte Kite just pulled for holding, so she's playing man-on-man really tight, but her arm's just getting in the way, entangled with Altschwager.
It's almost like woman love, isn't it? You almost hug your opponent. But the intent's there because you are actually trying to use your away hand or off hand to get possession.
Often it's just posture in times like that as well.
Finch now. Tactix. Still 5 goals down, and Mitchell has a crack, and she's good. Lee's up high, but she always seems to be able to find Litchwaka or Boise. This time it's Altschwager out of the circle.
And that's the one that Charlotte Kite does need to intercept, going to the circle edge.
Kite just frustrated by the mobility of the Central Pulse circle. Meantime, at this end, Tanya Dalton, we saw mobility between Thompson and Mitchell against a tall defensive unit in the Magic last week. Katrina Grant, again, they're just not able to find their form.
No, and I guess with the size of them, you know, they've got to use that front spot, and the Pulse defenders are pushing them up. Therefore, they've got to shoot longer. It's a lot harder. So, yeah, Grant and Boise doing a sensational job.
As is Paula Griffin. She's all over the shot and shooting like a champion.
So Grant may not have been on the court, but she's obviously done some intercept visualisation.
Oh, I spoke to her prior to the game, Bertie, and she was so excited. She just, you know, when you haven't played for that many weeks, you just want to get out there, get amongst it.
I think she can well be pleased with their start, her first 10 minutes of this first quarter.
Another turnover, it was just messy old hands in it. So the throw in to the Canterbury Tactix. They reset with Kite.
Tactix forced to pass the ball around in the midcourt.
And a better drive from Bowden.
Bowden and Milner-Olsen fighting over that circle edge.
And Mitchell tag teamed, Boise and Grant pressure on the shot. And the Pulse fly through court. Their progress through court's pretty special. Air ball from Jane Altschwager, though. They need to finish and a gimme. So we've got it all here this afternoon. And again.
So Monday night all over again.
Mitchell will just try and settle. She uses Vic Smith. And the Tactix just waiting patiently until the time is right.
And Grant sticking on Thompson like glue. Thompson trying everything.
Well, as a shooting combination, what can they do, T?
Well, I guess you just got to be patient. They've got to keep it moving until the space, you know, arises, and that's where they're coming into difficulty. They are lacking a bit of height in there, and I think that is certainly hurting them so far.
They seem to be struggling coming through court as well, and you have to wonder, Charlotte Kite was out at goal defence last week, and she had some good punchy front cuts going on, which made a difference.
Yeah, I mean, this Pulse side, they're a tight man-on-man side. Certainly there's 3 foot over everything. They go for every ball, so it makes it harder bringing it through the court for the
Let's see if we can listen into these huddles.
But you're going to need to go back early to let Cole know to come. And then you can work the base, but you're doing a great job coming around the front. Just keep jumping Angela's shot. Okay, 2 on it. Push. I think sometimes you could leave a little bit earlier on the through court and just even come down to come back through the tight on the back. Okay? At the circle, hot zone, push them away from the post. Okay? It's good, but we can get better. Once we get that pressure on, look for the ball sharp. Okay? Good, okay?
This is a bloody good party, so this one. Ladies and gentlemen, give our kids a round of applause over there.
So Marie Bowden So interesting words from the camps of the Tactix and the Central Pulse. And we're underway again. Just over 3.5 minutes remaining first spell here in Wellington. And it's the Tactix playing catch-up.
So we heard Tactix coach and their captain, Bowden, urging their team on, looking for the ball. And to just keep it up, basically.
Grant stand down, penalised for distance. And Thompson makes the most of it.
Again, some tight marking from the mid-court of the Tactix side. They're known for their defensive work, actually, this side.
Milner Olsen, the give and go, so effective. Great way to make up good space through court. Head of the circle this time, Milner Olsen. She's having a fine game so far at centre. And there's the space. Just a pass, not accurate.
Yeah, Alschwager struggling to find some room herself. Feeder's not confident to let it go into her.
So just under 2.5 minutes now till the end of this first spell. Tactix pretty desperately wanting to make a bit of an inroad in this deficit. Milner Olsen all over Marie Bowden. A nice wry smile, though, from the former Silver Fern.
Thompson trying to hold her space.
And that's better angles from the Canterbury Tactix. And a better shot, Ange Mitchell. Plenty of talk on the centre pass, the Canterbury Tactix, and Helen Marn-Stroud said to Charlotte Kite, go for it, Shah. She does. The result, turnover.
And sometimes that's all you need, just to go out hunting, to go with urgency, and you can put the fear into the attackers.
Bit of a lucky one, Tactix. And then they can't finish.
Yeah, a bit of a rush of blood to the head for Philippa Finch there.
So this first quarter's been littered really with mistakes that we said before the game. These were the things that they needed to cut out, those passes out the backcourt, misunderstandings, steppings.
Just accuracy in everything you do required at this level. Milner Olsen now. The big hoof across the circle. Pulse probably need to reduce those angles, circle edge. And Griffin has a go. Top stuff.
Oh, Milner Olsen.
She just steals it.
And Bowden caught standing.
Then she gets a free gift back. It's almost like watching a tennis match at times, this one. Thompson out of the circle at the head. And a lovely exchange between she and Angela Mitchell. Katrina Grant snaffles.
Mitchell's shooting really down today, sitting on 50% currently.
Oh, Krishna Lichwa. The crowd do the big countdown, and Jane Olschwager thinks she'll have an attempt at a layup. It's not successful, though. So a pretty dramatic end to the first quarter, and it's a spell which has belonged to the home side, the Central Pulse. They go to the break 5 goals ahead, 12-7 it is. Pulse over the Tactix. Back live with second quarter action very shortly, Sky Sport.
Deep on the base, just stay on an angle, okay? Good start, we need more, all right? Good work.
Close a couple of times when we've had that pressure on the outside, then you've had your head up and you've got the opportunity to go and have a look. And even if you've gone a couple of times, you've threatened it, and it's made them really hesitate. So it's good work, one thing.
Plenty plenty of enthusiasm in both camps. Central Pulse hosting the Canterbury Tactix. 12-7 it is. And when you crunch the numbers, Bernice Minnie, I guess that's the key one. But to me, the penalties.
That is extremely high, that penalty count. 22 for the Canterbury Tactix and 17 for the Central Pulse. Remembering they've only played 15 minutes of netball, so to have clocked up that many means that they need to tidy up and back off. The other figure for me, goal percentages. 70% and 80. You know, that's you've got a couple of shooters there on 100, but both of the others are on 50%, and that's not good enough.
And Bernie, I'll just jump in. A positional change for the Tactix. Finch and Bowden, they swap over. So Finch now in at centre, Bowden a wing attack.
Thank you, Tanya.
No changes in the Pulse, ladies and gentlemen. The Tactix have made a couple of changes. Philippa Finch to centre. Marie Bowden to wing attack. It's netball time.
Second quarter, TSB Bank Arena in Wellington. And you have to say it started as the first one ended with a miscommunication. And Charlotte Kite penalised. So as you said, Bernice, stats page showed a really high penalty count.
Well, Charlotte Kite, from the whole competition, she is on the top 10 for the intercepts, but also for the penalties. So one has played out the other, really.
And another miscommunication, that just in front of our commentary position, and you saw the look of frustration on the face of Philippa Finch.
I think as a captain in this situation, you'd be wanting to just calm it down a bit and try and do some basics well.
Tactix force it wide, but Paula Griffin's just having such a ball on the baseline. And she converts again.
She's playing with such composure, turning, putting them up, no stress.
Bowden, good footwork. And Finch looks again, but nothing available. And just a spot of luck really sees Ange Mitchell in a good shooting position. But it's off the rim again, and Katrina Grant gobbles that up.
Grant and Aboise on defence, they are just sticking with the attackers the whole way. But there we saw another turnover.
Yeah, frittered away. Talk about having to value possession. That's not how you do it. And a Thompson, better stuff. So a bit of a bonus goal, really. Canterbury Tactix, Pulse centre pass now.
But at this stage of the game, the Tactix, they want to stay within a 5-goal deficit, if not peg it back.
Quick Smith this time, the one penalised. And Marie Bowden, you're right, Bernice Minnie. Former Silver Fern, she's a pretty inspirational leader for the Tactix. She'll need to spark something soon for her side, because Katrina Grant is on fire.
She is on fire. In that little set play, Thompson did a number of dodges. Grant stayed with her and then managed to come up with the intercept. Thompson being called for the contact.
And you'd have to say the one good thing to come out of Katrina Grant's injury is that Amara Boise's been moved out to goal defence.
And we've seen her skills out at goal defence, you know, her drive through the court and much more agility.
Turnover this time, Canterbury Tactix, and Crofts brings it through court. The sideline path and then good angles.
And that's much better play from the Tactix. They were moving the ball, spinning the circle.
And Mitchell finishes nicely.
Altschwager out of the circle. Both shooters, in fact, left the circle clear.
Throw in Lee's sideline. And good patient stuff, Central Pulse. There's the hot spot now.
And Altschwager trying the dodge on Smith, but I was just about to say Smith sitting on her doing a great job, but got through then.
Tactix now still playing catch up, and Mitchell, a stronger movement into the circle, makes his space very definitely known.
So 2-on-1. Aboise on her own in there. But now Mitchell with the second shot.
And Grant, nice lean, getting good distance, not giving away the penalties.
And poor old Ange Mitchell just having an unhappy time.
And that's the one from Charlotte Kite. At quarter time, Coach Helen Manstrad was urging her to do that, exactly. Come out of the circle, look for the ball.
Tactix igniting. They're starting to charge through court now, the Canterbury Tactix. Good space, Ange Mitchell.
Oh, she's so effective on the base.
Again, that shot coming up short. All of Ange Mitchell's shots today have rebounded too early, and she's sitting 4 from 10 on 40%.
So a bit of an unhappy time, you'd have to say, from Ange Mitchell. Time called. Tanya, Tactix campus it?
It certainly is, using Ange Mitchell. And they're not the biggest of pins, but yeah.
Well, let's just see if we can listen into a couple of these team huddles again. One of the marvellous changes in ANZ this year is that the coaches can coach during these breaks.
Just try not to get too overcommitted, coming too high, and then making an error. You know, I think you can be a little bit, but just depends on her cutback.
So plenty of chatter in the Central Pulse camp, and so there should be 15-9. So now the 6-goal advantage in front of this bumper home crowd at the TSB Bank Arena. And they're all giving it the big ba-boom, ba-boom.
Frankie Stevens loves it down here, doesn't he?
Plenty of enthusiasm in netball country in these parts as Litchpark finds Griffin on the sideline.
And if I just jump in that break, Alan Halpenny came on at goal shoot. Thompson moves to goal attack.
So I guess, Bernie, you know, you called it Ange Mitchell was shooting at 40%. Not good enough.
You just can't afford to have a player on the court with the goal attack bib on at those percentages.
Griffin again. And the pass for the Central Pulse. Olschwager out of the circle, but it works okay.
Milner Olsen, the give and get.
And I think what's happening down here, Olschwager is doing a lot of movement, so creating space for Griffin.
On the ball, goal defence, both out.
Both players down, so at both ends, the defence really needing to adjust to the umpire's calls. The penalty counts horrific. Litchpark this time called. And Bowden drives onto the circle edge.
Anna Thompson moving goal attack. Ellen Health heading to goal shoot.
Oh, Grant, unlucky. She had a dive.
She's not afraid of an exchange, Katrina Grant.
Halpenny, yeah, missing her first shot.
And as a shooter, Tan, that's just such a blow, isn't it?
Yeah, you want to come on, especially when you're starting a bit colder than the rest of the side. Come on and just slot that first one nice and easy.
Good space marking tactics. They're trying to force the ball wide, and you see Charlotte Kite out of the circle hunting.
And now Schwager, she's like done a 400-metre loop of the goal third.
So that tactics side, they're doing a drop zone.
And good to see the variety. That's the first time we've seen it from the Canterbury Tactix, and we know they're effective at it. Big job ahead now for the visitors, because it's 18-9.
The Pulse have scored the last 4. Can the Tactics break this run?
They'll certainly look to. Finch, circle edge. And tries to look for a gentle angle into Halpenny on the baseline.
Well, there was no way that needed a gentle pass.
Bullet would have sufficed.
So dogged on the circle edge is Litchvark and Milner Olsen. They're going for everything.
And Finch holds beautifully against Milner Olsen, just a tangle of limbs. Baseline, Anna Thompson has a crack. Nothing falling the way of the Canterbury Tactix this afternoon. And the Central Pulse just so hungry as they hurl the ball through court. Good straight line play. Milner Olsen now as they square it.
And again, Alschwager right out, up high in this goal third. Oh, nice little footwork from Griffin on the baseline.
And good low and hard feed from Millie Lees.
So a 10-goal lead to the Pulse with 6 minutes to go in the second quarter.
And that says it already, the goal percentage, 83 plays 53.
And Halpenny not having much more luck than her predecessor.
Well, you just wonder, a player like Ellen Halpenny, she's just 19 years old. There was so much pressure and expectation on her this season. And now she's gone from the starting 7 to being an impact player. And you'd have to say, Tan, not looking that happy in her ANZ Championship skin.
No, and she wasn't put on last week. And so, you know, you start to lose, probably as a young player, a bit of confidence when you're left on the side. And then you're brought into a pressure situation like this when your team's down. I guess as a young player, you can only learn from these situations.
Thompson now tries to create some space in that front third for the Canterbury Tactix. Halpenny a nice hold. Space is there if Thompson wants it. Instead, she goes to the post and does so effectively. Tactix pass again, Bowden out for it in a good space. First few weeks of ANZ, that's what we saw between Marie Bowden and Ellen Halpenny. Nice to see it back again. It's good to watch. Lees now. Central Pulse. Yeah, there's 7 goals up. Alschwager's all over the place, isn't she, Bernie?
Alschwager coming out of the circle for the pass quite a lot. But in doing so, she draws a defender with her. So leaving it free for Griffin to go one-on-one herself.
Home crowd, love it. Just under 5 minutes left before half-time. 20-12, Pulse over the Tactix. Bowden goes and goes again, trying to fire up her team.
And Grant's so close to some of those little bounce passes. She's certainly having a go.
Abueze getting her 3 feet really quickly on the shot and having success putting it off.
And Lee's now combining nicely with Milner Olsen. Just the patience on attack, Central Pulse. You know, we hadn't seen that in the early part of 2010. This time Charlotte Kite, though, given a bit of a free gift. And that is spectacular.
That should give the Tactix some confidence.
Well, they turn it on. Litchmark transverse line, and here's the zone formation. Charlotte Kite was going to go early.
Oh, and Smith giving Alschwager the front cut, easy pass.
This time it's Katrina Grant called, so penalties galore in this match.
Huge penalty counts for both sides.
Well, in fact, it's both defenders down now.
This is what you definitely call a free shot.
One of those ones that you hate to miss as a shooter, I'd imagine. So good on you, Anna Thompson. Back to 7 now. Just under 3 minutes remaining before the half-time break.
So Paula Griffin, she's doing a lot of mileage, but not being effective with her movement and her energy.
Vic Smith the turnover this time, and Finch is nice and high. And another penalty. Thompson over the arms of Abueze. And Katrina Grant, she's just having a sensational time on court today. Gets the call.
She looks like she has energy to spare as well, Katrina Grant.
Litchfield is so solid on attack. She's just such a steady, calming influence for the Pulse side, bringing it through.
Always available. Charlotte Kite this time. She doesn't think she should have been called. It's pretty nice timing. And Griffin. She looks like she could shoot all day. Abwezi used on the centre pass, and that good straight line passage down the sideline. It's working really effectively for the Central Pulse today.
Just nice little touch passes where the ball only hits their fingers for a slight second. Gives a good flow to the game.
Charlotte Kite this time the rebound. And boy, her side need it. Canterbury Tactix really struggling as they play catch-up against this Pulse side. Crofts this time. And they just need to set and then go again. Nice movement off the ball. Ellen Halpenny.
So when Halpenny does definite movements, she makes it quite clear to her feeders where she wants the ball.
Thompson now, and the Tactix just reset and set again. Stunning.
Shooter comes to the top, looks and sees their other shooter going to base. Sensational.
Olschwager on the baseline. Swings it. Tries the dodge again, but Vic Smith's a pretty good front marker. Lees now will set the penalty. Time's running out. The countdown's begun. You can hear the crowd here at the TSB Bank Arena. And Paula Griffin, safe as houses. That'll be it for the first half here at the TSB Bank Arena, and it's been a topsy-turvy second spell. And as we go to the break, it's still the home side, the Central Pulse ahead. They lead 23-17. We're back to wrap up the first half very shortly with you live on Sky Sport, the home of netball. Half-time at the TSB Bank Arena in Wellington, where it's 23-17. The home side, the Central Pulse, well, they'll be happy as Larry because they're leading the Canterbury Tactix. And you'd have to say, Bernice Minnie, that it's through some pretty staunch defence and the welcome return of Katrina Grant.
Well, we talked about in the past about Rachel Rasmussen coming back and leading the form ball. Katrina Grant has taken this another step up. She's proved that she's really there. And intercepts, rebounds, pickups. She's having a go at everything.
She also looks just so hungry. She's been out of the game for a few weeks, and she looks like she's delighted to be back out there.
Yeah, she definitely looks like she's enjoying the game, and that she's agile and fit. She's staying with her partner the whole time.
Well, she's certainly causing havoc for the Central Pulse shooters. For the Canterbury Tactix shooters, I'm sorry, Ange Mitchell was substituted. She shot at just 40%. And Ellen Halpenny also having a bit of an unhappy time against Katrina Grant.
Well, Grant's combination with Abwezi is beautiful to watch, actually. They're switching really succinctly and able to stay with the Tactix as they're trying to lose them.
Well, down the other end, former Silver Fern Tanya Dalton. Yarma Milner-Olsen just doing a fine job of feeding from everywhere on the circle edge into Griffin and Olschwager. The combination's pretty fine and dandy.
Yeah, Milner-Olsen, both attacking and defensively. She has impressed me today on attack. She's patient. She's putting in good ball to her shooters. In turn, they're turning and putting it up. And, you know, she seldom makes mistakes. Defensively, she's working her butt off. She's keeping their feeders off the circle edge, and she's picking up crucial balls. So she's a real steady, calming influence in there.
Well, the Central Pulse fans come in all shapes and sizes, and that little fan certainly got plenty of heart. As we go to the break now, we'll be back shortly for third quarter action, and it is the home side, Central Pulse, ahead 23-17 over the Canterbury Tactix. There's 6 goals in it at the TSB Bank Arena in Wellington, and it's the Central Pulse ahead of the Canterbury Tactix 23-17. And when you crunch the numbers, everything pretty even, Bernice Mini, apart from that goal percentage.
And there we see that goal percentage is 82% for the Central Pulse. That's high for them, but Canterbury Tactix sitting down there at 63. Again, the penalties very high, so they're still clocking up a lot of penalties, bringing the umpires into the game. Intercepts and rebounds considerably going in the Pulse's favour.
And Tanya Dalton, you take a look at these shooting stats. What's the story told?
Oh, outstanding. Griffin, you've got to notice this goal attack, and she's shooting majority of the shots, and she's going at 94%, which is massive. Down the other end, Will Mitchell, no good, 40%. Halpenny not making much of an impact, so they certainly need another partner for Thompson to lift their performance.
Do they watch? Third quarter begins. TSB Bank Arena in Wellington, and stepping. So, gosh, it's an unhappy afternoon so far, Canterbury Tactix. All sorts of little mistakes creeping into their game.
And no changes from either side heading into this third quarter.
Thank you, Tanya. Abwazi now uses Lichvark. They soldier on all right. And another turnover, so just turnovers galore.
Held ball there for Millie Lees.
And I guess in turn this Tactix defence will want it to be, you know, finished off down this attacking end. There's nothing worse for a defender. Bernie, Reg, you're both defenders. I used to love missing it for the defenders, eh?
Said like a true shooter, Tanya Dalton.
Just gives you more play.
So the Tactix now just trying to settle. They do so with a brilliant pass to Halpenny.
Yeah, and a nice little pocket there. That'll give her confidence. First shot under the hoop.
Boise this time. She's used a heap on the centre pass, as is Lichvark.
Nice split by Olschweiger.
And joining us in commentary now, the Central Pulse coach, Yvette McCausland. Jury, Yvette, nice to see your team up on the scoreboard, I bet. What did you say to them at halftime?
Yeah, it is nice. I think we've just fallen a wee bit off in terms of urgency, and we want to really pick that up in terms of the pressure on the point 9. It's been effective for us over the last few weeks, but also on attack, we feel we're a bit stationary on the drive, so a little bit more movement will be good.
Well, your defence has been effective, Yvette, in the first half. Do you put that down to Katrina Grant coming back into the side as well?
I certainly think she's had a great start, and the injection and change has been effective. But collectively, I still think throughout the court, the defence needs to be a full team pressure.
Oh, you're a tough taskmaster, Yvette. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
25-18 it is. Coming up to about 12 and a half minutes left as the Central Pulse just keep on keeping on. Milner Olsen this time. And just the reset on the transverse line through Abwazi. Milner Olsen looks in, but uses Lees instead. Good patience stuff again, Central Pulse. Tactix now try to strike back. They use Smith on the transverse line, and same deal, good patient stuff. Lichvark, the hand. And it's Croft who gathers. Better stuff. Good strong front cut, Anna Thompson, and she finishes. So the Pulse just quietly try to work their way down. And with us in commentary now, the coach of the Canterbury Tactix, Helen Mann-Stroud. Helen, I bet you had plenty to say at half-time. What did you say to your team?
Well, just, you know, we were surging back towards half-time. We made some good plays down the court, had the confidence to let the ball go, and we just need to do that a lot more.
And on defence, Helen, quite a high penalty count for both teams, but for your side, will you be addressing that in this half?
Well, you know, I think our defence guys have done a good job. You know, we didn't get a lot of ball last week, and that's an area that we've really concentrated on this week. And as a result, I think the cumulative pressure that we're trying to exert down the court is paying off with Vic and Charlotte getting a hand to it.
Well, Helen, we look forward to your team putting on a good show in the second half. We know they're good at catch-up, so we look forward to a good tussle. Thanks for your time. Central Pulse now. Straight lines through court to Olschwager, nobody home.
Olschwager with the second shot at goal.
And she's good for it. Second time lucky. So it really ebbs and flows, this game. 28-20 now. Good cross court. And it looked like it looked like the angle wasn't going to work, but Tanya Halpenny now finding her spaces nicely.
Yeah, she's certainly taking Grant out, taking her a bit further, so she's got the cut back. And yeah, like you said, dodgy cross court, but she certainly lost her.
Griffin now, and what a great draw. Paula Griffin just allowed Olschwager to drop into the pocket behind her. Brilliant.
Again, Halpenny bringing Grant out. Sensational so far what she's done this quarter, so she's changed her game up. She started with confidence.
Well, both shooters at both ends of the court are working well with their preparation work, their footwork, drawing their defenders out of the circle.
Griffin, the bullet pass into her captain and teammate Olschwager. She didn't want to shoot.
Sneaky little pass, but she'll get the ball back because of the penalty.
And she'll slot it. So Bessie Manu and Jamila Gutwell look on from the bench, pretty happy with their team's performance so far. Litchfield will stand down all over Marie Bowden.
Oh. Grant a little bit eager there.
Eager or late. Difficult to know which.
She had a nice smile.
Yeah, she's a great team player as well as Katrina Grant.
Halpenny just starting to get into the swing of things, the 19-year-old. It's good to see. Litchfield fires a bullet. And there they go. Straight line down the sideline.
And Lee's having a lot of success with that bounce pass into Olschwager. It's about the third one I've seen this quarter.
Rick Smith, the rebound, good safe hands, and Philippa Finch. Not sure that was a planned move, but it's successful for the Tactix. Pretty spectacular, but you've got to finish off.
And Katrina Grant, she's been really effective on the rebounds in this game.
And Bernie, what I like about her, she doesn't give away too many penalties on her, you know, her lean or her jump.
So a replay ball called for Olschwager. From her face, I think she was contesting it with the umpire.
She's not going to change her mind, though, is she, Bernie? And it doesn't matter anyhow, because the Canterbury Tactix squander it at the other end.
Yeah, and the face of Philippa Finch shows it all, just that frustration.
Well, it's even frustrating to watch, you have to say. It's pretty poor quality as far as the turnovers go. Lees now drives onto the circle edge and finds Olschwager.
Some snappy passing from the Pulse right through the court and on the circle edge.
And Milner Olsen all on her own. No pressure at all from her opponent, Philippa Finch. Well, I was going to say it was going to be third time lucky, but...
Oh, I might have a go.
It is that messy. Tanya Dalton's ready to put her feet on, put her sneakers on.
That's one way to get through the muck, though, isn't it? Anna Thompson, nothing but net. 7 minutes left now, third quarter, 30-24, so just 6 in it.
And we know that's nothing in netball. What did we see last week? The Pulse were down by 10, came back to be up by 5, so it can certainly turn around very quickly.
The blink of an eye, T. 2 breaks is all that's in this one. And Anna Thompson really just starting to find form under the hoop.
Yeah, and whether she's a contact lens girl or a...
It's a bit of a shame, really, because the Canterbury Tactix were the team that were gaining momentum.
suppose your eyes are important when you're a shooter.
Tactix.
Oh, yeah.
Finger in the eye from Abwezi.
Oh, fair enough. I take it back, Tanya. A genuine injury. A big mitt in the eye.
Yeah.
Square of that baseline. Make sure you keep your heads up. Never got some of those just out there, okay? Great. Really good. More of the same. Okay? Your little great, Bill. Really good sparking, you two. Great. Just keep them off their edge. Okay? Really nicely played. What's that, wheelbarrow? Good momentum, guys. It's fantastic, okay? Really good speed here. Finish it. Stay in the moment. Stay in energy. One, 2, 3, 1.
Well, that was a pretty fair call, actually, from the Canterbury Tactics coach, Helen Martin-Stroud. She doesn't want her team to lose momentum. She said stay in the moment, and it is pretty important that they pick up from their mini surge.
And they are up in this quarter by 1 goal.
And can I just mention, Bessie Manu has come on at goal defence for the Pulse.
And Tan, any indication of whether that's an injury move or a tactical move? Emma Abwezi doing a pretty fine job.
Yeah, she was the poker in the eye, so it wasn't her eye. So I think, yeah, more tactical, Adria.
The poker rather than the pokey.
Nothing wrong with their finger. But Bessie Manu, not much court time this year, so she'll be wanting to prove herself as well.
Halpenny, it was awkward. And she's back into the swing of things as far as her rebounding goes as well. We saw in the early weeks of ANZ, she was pretty good on her own rebound. And that was a fine effort. So now with just under 6 minutes remaining until three-quarter time, there's only 4 goals in it.
Well, the Tactics, they have just plugged goal by goal. They're pulling this deficit back, and they've scored off the last 4.
Sneaking their way up, all right. Finch has used other side of the circle. Just waiting for things to open up, and they do.
Yeah, better movement in there. Thompson drew to the top, leaving it open for Halpenny. She hasn't given us a smile yet, but I'm sure we'll get one.
And another mistake from the Pulse. Bit of a crucial turnover time for them.
Yeah, look at the number of turnovers. 19 the Pulse, 14 the Tactics. Incredible stuff. Patience now required from the woman wearing red and black. Instead,
the Tactics putting the ball out of court. They just needed some length in the vision to look down towards the shooting circle.
Litchmark now, and it's the same passage through court. They just bring it down the wing attack side and wait for the space. There it is. Solid rebound, Al Schwager, and it was a crucial one. Interesting, Yvette McCaw's and Jury just having a yarn to Emma Abwezi. You wonder whether she's just getting her to take stock, and then she may re-inject her into the game.
Yeah, I wondered that too, whether by taking her off the court, she's able to visualise and see what's happening and then bring her on again as an impact player.
Well, certainly down as attacking in the Tactics. They've started to get it together, Thompson and Halpenny.
Tell you what, they won't get it together if Katrina Grant's got anything to do with it. Body on the line. Lees and Griffin combined. She'll use the transverse line. Manu this time. She passes to the woman right next to her. Nothing wrong with safety though.
So cross for the contact.
And quite good pressure on the shot, but Griffin will see through it.
It's been a very patient Pulse side this game. They really haven't looked flustered at all when they've had the ball in hand.
And Griffin on the baseline. She doesn't want to shoot it, but her movement's been spectacular.
Yet she's shot all day from out wide and slotted them, which surprises me.
Bowden loitering, and there's the pass again, the bomb into Halpenny. Back to 4. Can the Canterbury Tactics sneak any closer?
And Bowden milking that penalty as much as she can. Lichwa not looking phased.
Strong work on the baseline, Halpenny, and the shot. So the young woman's really starting to gain some momentum on court. 3 in it now. Just under 2.5 minutes remaining until three-quarter time. We could be in for one heck of a finish. Manu.
Good straight lines.
Lucky Ashwaga teetering on the line near here where I am.
And they set again through Manu. It's better stuff using ball speed, Olschwager. But there's just no way in, is there?
That Tactics defence is relentless. Filling that whole goal third. See them working the zone, all 4 of them.
Plugging the hot spot and trying to force it wide.
Yeah, Griffin probably needs to do something a little bit more urgent. Change that pace, change that speed.
And Vic Smith, the hand to it. Deemed to be off the fingers of Jane Olschwager. She argues it, and it's marched. So, Canterbury Tactics, a real opportunity here. We said when they were 10 or so down that they were good at catch-up. You bet they are. And the call goes the other way, so... Oh, Manu to no one through a third.
And Manu, another player who's been out with injury, so interesting call, her being brought in.
Well, McCausland obviously has confidence in her and her pairing with Katrina Grant.
Halpenny charges out. What a battle she's having with Katrina Grant.
And how, but she's like a different player to when she came on in that second quarter.
Well, a long shot she perhaps didn't need to take. And another turnover. Let's see how the Pulse go. Down the sideline, and Olschwager, nice and simple, comes up short. It's like a mirror image, isn't it? So the dying seconds, really, but still time for a goal from the Tactics. Halpenny. Air ball.
Maybe she thought the clock was going a bit quicker than what it was.
Well, it's been like the Twilight Zone, hasn't it? The last couple of moments of this third quarter. The end result, though, is that the third spell has belonged to the Canterbury Tactics. They trail by just 3 now, so we are in for an epic 15 minutes to finish this one off. 32-29 it is. The Pulse over the Tactics. Join us shortly for the last 15 minutes here in Wellington.
We just need to do it more. We pick up the turnover, we bring it out with energy and really nice sharpness, okay? It's great. We've got to keep driving into the ball.
You're forcing them up high, leave them high. They're not going to shoot up here. Let's think smart about what you're doing. There's not enough urgency on the through court. We've got to let the ball do the work, okay? Move it, move it, move it. You've got to find some more heart in there and dig deep, all right? Let's go. You're at 56% on our...
Go the Pulse. Well, that's, I bet, what Yvette McCausland wanted to say to her team, because the Canterbury Tactics have just crept up on her side. 32-29 it is And Tanya Dalton, some changes.
Yeah, for the Pulse. Wazy comes back on a goal defence. Paula Griffin moves out to goal attack, so captain Jane Archer goes off. And Tiamo Amadou-Tibble, goal shooter for the Pulse. Big call. Changes in the last quarter, Andrea.
Big call indeed, but good to see this player back on court. Amara Bwazy's had a boomer so far.
Mercury Energy Tactics. Final quarter.
So 15 minutes left and just 3 goals in it. The Canterbury Tactics have dragged themselves back into this one in Wellington. Bowden now, but Grant will be penalised. And Alan Halpenny beautifully positioned for the rebound. Make sure of it.
Halpenny has really grown into this game.
Yeah, she looked jittery when she came on. She was used as a substitution, but she's come good. Pulse now. Storm through. Paula Griffin on the baseline. She's been so strong on the baseline all day. Nice and easy. Anna Thompson now. And Bowden and Bernice Mini. You've worn red and black. There's a lot of pride in that province, isn't there?
There is a lot of pride. I've worn a few colours red.
Yeah.
But yes, this Canterbury side, we know that they are desperate for this win today. And we heard Helen Manstroud, coach, calling for a team to go out there with some heart.
Yeah, so too the Central Pulse coach, Yvette McCausland-Jury. We saw her side with massive amounts of heart as Vic Smith gets one back. But the call goes against the Canterbury Tactics. Offside the call. So one of the Tactics midquarters must have danced through the circle.
Good patience from Mona Olsen there, waiting for Griffin to open it up.
So Amadou-Tibble still to shoot a goal yet.
Goal for goal so far in this final stanza.
That tussle between Litchfield and Bowden has certainly been outstanding today.
And Katrina Grant, she did all she could to draw herself back from Ellen Halpenny. Still the call goes against her. And Thompson so safe. She's running at 83%, Anna Thompson, having a fine game.
And shooting a majority of the shots. Is Thompson.
Lees drives again. It's a good way to make it through court. And there's Paula Griffin on the baseline again. She doesn't want to shoot.
Yeah, which surprises me when she's going at 89% today.
You can hear the crowd screaming, giving all sorts of advice. Shoot it, one of them. Finch now, circle edge for the Tactics, and there's the up to go back, and it's intercepted beautifully by Amara Bwazy. What a quality player.
The old back and straight up.
And that short break, time off the court for Bwazy. She's come back on the court, but like she's got rockets in her boots.
Amadou-Tibble now.
She'll need to sink this. First shot, she'll just be thinking, just sink it.
And she does.
That intercept from Bwazy. Some quick feet, beautiful elevation.
Perfect. Milner Olsen now, circle edge.
And sensible there, not wanting to throw in the hope pass into the circle. So going back to the transverse.
Lovely space, Paula Griffin, and good finishing. (37-32). So the Central Pulse back to that 5-goal buffer. Oh, off the ring.
I feel sorry for shooters when that happens.
Never feel sorry for shooters.
And that was pretty much straight down the throat of Charlotte Kite. And the Tactics go again to Kite, so just trying to rework their way through court, nothing on offer. Thompson takes the ball strongly and Finch drives onto the circle edge. Good work, Tactics. And strong finishing.
Feels like some real urgency from both sides with only 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, it's anybody's game. What a battle. The Lees now. Here's the patience you talk of, Tanya.
Yeah, but there's a fine line between letting it go on the 3rd second and
the 4th.
Yeah. But this lady, take a bow. You know, when she's turned, she's put it up, she's maintained that consistency throughout.
The cushion again, 5 goals. Tactics chasing. And you just get a sense, Bernice Mini, that the crowd at the TSB Bank Arena would go ballistic if their side won.
Well, you can be sure that this Pulse side don't want to leave it to extra time as well this week.
Well, these two sides have been to extra time twice, so you just hush your mouth.
And that's probably just you, Bernie, being so heavily pregnant.
Oh.
Bit of soccer from Anna Thompson.
It was off her shin, and the crowd are booing because you're not actually allowed to kick the ball. And that is a little, perhaps, of how it looked.
Oh, Grant, she has come up with one. She's been going for those all day.
Her skills on the court have left me flawless in the last few minutes.
As has the shooting of Paula Griffin, and look at that crowd. About a year ago at Te Rauparaha Arena in Porirua, the Central Pulse had their first win in ANZ. It was against the New South Wales Swifts. Could this be their second? Just under 8.5 minutes left. And they're ahead by 4. It's a cliffhanger. Lees has been so calm and steady all day. Amaru Tibble out of the circle.
And a lovely rotation from Amaru Tibble and Griffin.
And what a shot. Cool, calm and collected. Litchfield called for distance. She suggests to the umpires that she wasn't, and so the penalties marched in. And Anna Thompson giving a shooting opportunity. So really, we've seen a bit of marching from the umpires. Players are just going to have to find their discipline. Amaru Tibble out of the circle. And good patient feed, Millie Lees.
And Griffin taking charge in that circle.
Look at that crowd. %, Central Pulse are shooting at. Tactics at 69, but believe it or not, that 69's an improvement because their first half numbers were pretty diabolical. Thompson now. There's another. So just under 7 minutes left in this one, and there's only 2 breaks in it.
So Vic Smith just pulled for the contact, leaving Griffin to go and team up with their teammate in the circle. Look in.
Look in, says Coach Mini, and they do.
Don't you love this atmosphere? They can feel it.
It's pretty tense, isn't it?
Still a long way to go, but what I like about this Pulse side, they've kept attacking, you know, they haven't played safe netball, they've kept letting it go.
And the footwork and discipline of Katrina Grant, pretty magical.
Conversely, Anna Thompson has been solid as a rock in that shooting circle for her side.
And she's running at 87, so gosh, nothing wrong with that. Litchfield now uses Milner Olsen, and they'll go down the sideline, stay as straight as they can. Oh, the big high-risk pass. That's exactly what they didn't want to do, but Vic Smith's penalised. And so is Kite. So a penalty shot, Amaru Tibble. It dribbles off, and it's Millie Lees who picks up the scraps. Good play.
Maybe they want the game to end there. Leave the ball up there.
Back to 5 goals, just over 5 minutes left. Halpenny, good safe pass to her captain.
Big cross-court swing from Bowden to Finch.
Waiting for the spaces to open up. And this time it's Litchfield. Man, she'll just give everything. Offside though, funnily enough. Hands everywhere, Central Pulse defenders, but they find Thompson do the Canterbury Tactics. Oh, and one more. Central Pulse looking so focused. Amaru Tibble, good high shot, but it's off. And this could be the chance that the Canterbury Tactics have searched all game for.
And watch this defence from the Pulse.
Oh,
yes!
Amazing, and it's held ball.
Yeah, and that's a gutsy effort. They wanted it back. They wanted to turn it over. Every player was working their butt off.
And you could see Kite's face. There was absolutely nothing on for her to pass to.
Oh, Funcionator!
And I don't know whether Litchfield quite supposed to be there.
No, I can't watch this.
That's how bad both these teams want that, ladies and gentlemen.
Another knee injury.
Oh, surely this can't happen to the Canterbury Tactics. They have been plagued with injury all season. Oh, terrible to watch. And, you know, Krisha Litchfield in an offside position as well. Just a terrible exchange.
So not only is Finch on the ground, Amaru Tibble is also being looked at by the physio.
No, and that's just a sight you never want to see. Philippa Finch is such a great player and such a great servant to the Canterbury Tactics.
And such a gutsy, you never see her take time out, really. So she can tell she's certainly hurting.
And there's just under 4 minutes remaining, so she almost made it. Let's see if we can hear the words of advice from both of these coaches.
So what if you can drive down? All you need to do is look after your own ball. Everything else is a bonus, but you've got to keep attacking. Keep attacking.
This is a tough game, this is a tough players. Give everybody a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
So Hannah Poff on court for Philippa Finch, who is being helped off court. What a dreadful sight. And just under 4 minutes remaining, so the poor old Canterbury Tactics, can they win for her?
Yeah, and Poff coming on in replacement of her.
Yeah, no pressure, Tan. Deemed that the penalty wasn't taken, so Ellen Halpenny will have another go with Katrina Grant beside her. Tense times, folks, just over 3.5 minutes left in this encounter, only 3 goals in it.
And another change for the Pulse, Alshwaga coming on at goal shoot.
And we saw Tiama Amaru Tibble receiving attention during that break as well, so probably an injury break. And the Tactics make it 2. 43 to 41. Bernice Mini, you're heavily pregnant. I really hope this isn't too much for you.
So do I. I'm a support person down here.
Got the hot towels.
Right.
There's another one.
Another turnover ball. Tactics with it in hand.
And look at the resolve on their faces, Bernice. We're at ground level. These players wearing red and black are staunchly determined, as to the Central Pulse. Thompson for the Tactics. They'll go and they'll go again.
Great feed from Bowden, and Halpenny has kept her cool.
Yep, plenty of composure for a 19-year-old, and even a little smile from Ellen Halpenny, because the Canterbury Tactix have got the pass.
The Tactix have scored the last 4.
Oh, Grant.
And they'll get a shot at goal.
Yeah, she's called for contact. She doesn't like it, nor do the crowd. And now stepping called.
That was to even it.
Well,
Anna Thompson called for stepping. There's disbelief on players' faces on the court.
Yeah, well, you asked for the players to maintain composure.
And how crucial is this next 2 minutes?
I feel a bit sick.
Don't say that, please.
Yeah. Stay in the moment, Bernice.
And Griffin's out. Held ball, you'd imagine. No contact called. Bowden doesn't like it.
This is desperate stuff. Final few minutes of the game. 1 goal in it.
Oh. Lees looks back again. So the Canterbury Tactix forcing them to 3 every time. Olschwager out of the circle finds Griffin. Nice, easy feed in.
And there it is.
And that lady slotting the goal, Paula Griffin.
And without doubt, she'll be hurting from Monday night's game. So under pressure, she'll want to deliver today.
She's been a star. Under a minute 30 remaining now. 44 to 42. The Canterbury Tactix need the break. That's the reality. And they need it now.
A lot can happen in a minute and a half, though.
Milner Olsen, circle edge. Kite and Smith doing everything. Deja vu.
Yeah, Griffin's hands just letting her down.
Pretty much the same spot.
This is the chance that the Canterbury Tactix wanted. Can they do it? Oh!
Was Bowden shooting for goal?
I really don't know what Marie Bowden was thinking. Maybe she thought there was, I don't know, not as much time left. So now a chance for the Central Pulse. Dramatic stuff here in Wellington. Lichbart uses a Boise.
Central Pulse needing to keep their cool to hold on to their 2-goal lead.
Under 30 seconds left. Griffin, baseline. She shot brilliantly from there all day. And she does so again. That'll be it. And Yvette McCausland-Jury knows it. Another one for Thompson, but we're into the dying seconds. And the Central Pulse have done it. The crowd here at the TSB Bank Arena go absolutely ballistic because their team has scored just its 2nd win in the history of the ANZ Championship. They are dancing in the stands. Amara Boise, Captain Jane Olschwager, Bernice Minnie, they deserved that one and it went to the wire.
They absolutely deserved that game. Their whole team almost got onto the court and every one of them pulled their weight out there. You can see the smile on their faces, and actually it looks a bit like relief for many of those players, proving what they knew, that they could get a win in this competition.
Well, in the middle of the huddle, you see the disappointed faces of the Canterbury Tactix players. This has been an afternoon which has belonged to Jane Olschwager and her Central Pulse side. They'll be dancing on the streets tonight here in Wellington. This is a win so overdue. They went to extra time against the Northern Mystics a week ago, and Amaru Tibble shows us her moves.
The crowd are up on their feet, absolutely overjoyed.
And the Central Pulse coach, Yvette McCausland-Jury, embraces, hugs all round. Let's now get the post-match reaction from the winning captain, Jane Olschwager. First time we've been able to say that this year. She's sidelined with Tanya Dalton.
Jane, congratulations, you little beauty. How good does that feel?
Tell you what, it's different being the first interview rather than the second, so that must mean we won the game, and yeah, I don't know, we certainly looked to give it away a few times, but I'm glad we got it in the end.
Every player in your team stood up tonight. They did their job. That was the goal?
Yeah, certainly, and that's what it took to actually be the Tactix. We knew it was going to be tough. We knew it was going to come down to a couple of goals, and it just meant that everybody had to step it up from last week against Mystics, and they did.
How How different was it for you guys to be winning the whole way? You know, you're out by 10 and then it's sort of the creep back, but you kept pushing on.
Yeah, totally different feeling, I guess. So we're, you know, had 5 goals up there and we're sort of like, oh, well, it's a long way to go before the end of the game. How do you maintain this? But it's a good lesson for us to be on the other side of the spectrum as well.
Having Silverfern Katrina Grant back, she was an inspiration down there at the defensive end.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, tough game to come back into on a game that everyone thought that we could win, and look, she had a great game.
Jane, sum it up for me, your second ever win.
Bloody fantastic.
Okay, well, bring on the fever next week. Well done, and enjoy the celebrations. You deserve it.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Well, the celebrations will be underway already in Wellington. Smiles on the faces of the Central Pulse players. And this crowd, well, they're sticking around at the TSB Bank Arena. And the partying will be underway shortly in Wellington. Let's now hear from the losing skipper, Marie Bowden. She'll be so disappointed. She's now sidelined with Tanya.
Oh, Marie, this is hard. Commiserations. You know, I know you're absolutely gutted. Your face says it all.
Yeah, really gutted. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, slow start was hard to recover. You had surges, you came back, but just couldn't do it in the end.
Yeah, I think we needed another quarter, I think, out there. But yeah, you can't play catch up, and unfortunately that's what we're doing. And never mind, it was a good fight, and that's all I can ask.
And your teammate, Philippa Finch, I just about had tears in my eyes when I saw her go down. That mustn't help the issue.
Yeah, well, we thought we'd had 3, but now I guess it's 4, so they keep dropping like flies. You never know, Jules might get out there sooner than she thought.
Marie, can you pinpoint where it went wrong?
No, I thought we were probably just at the start, you know, that we didn't get away to a good start, and I think that's the key in these sort of games. You've got to get on top early, and we didn't, and as you say, catch up.
Marie, I'm not going to drag this on anymore. Hey, commiserations, but go and enjoy next week. You go to Adelaide, so bring on those Thunderbirds.
Oh, exactly. Thank you.
Well, she wears her heart on her sleeve, doesn't she, Marie Bowden? And the Canterbury Tactix will just be so disappointed, Bernice.
Well, they've had some really bad luck with this injury woes, and, you know, just to be time and time again, and also their shooting statistics have not helped at all this season.
I hope you're all right there, Bernice. It's been exciting times, that's for sure, here at the TSB Bank Arena in Wellington, but the Central Pulse have held on by the skin of their teeth. 45-43, back to wrap it up shortly, live with you, Sky Sport.
On Court takes you
inside the games.
On Court sees the lighter side.
Worst hairstyle I've ever had.
My mushroom haircut was different. Came out like a big fro kind of thing. On Court takes you home.
Growing up on the farm was like amazing. It's something that was really memorable for me. You know, we got to ride on the motorbike.
So why don't you join us?
Join us. Join us.
Join us on Court.
7:30 Wednesday, Sky Sport.
Yes, welcome back to the TSB Bank Arena, where the Central Pulse triumphant over this Tactix side, 45-43. Second ever win in this ANZ Championship, and they certainly are loving it. Well, yes, let's take a look at the player of the match. Katrina Grant hasn't been around since round 4, but she was outstanding, getting 3 points. Paula Griffin shooting was sensational at 2 points, and Marie Bowden, the very disappointed captain, coming in at 1 point. And looking at the player of the year leaderboard, well, Dean's still sitting up the top there, and then it's Byfield, Williams, all of them all pretty tight, so much of a muchness in there. Well, Benny, the Pulse, they stuck to their guns. What was the difference out there? Why did they win today?
I think they played some good netball, just some basic netball, but Katrina Grant, to me, she was the key. Outstanding performance from her.
Okay, well, that is our lot here today. We have had a fantastic time. Well done to the Pulse. Second ever win. Until next time, see you later.
Team styled by Ketski.